What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Real Estate Lab podcast, episode 19, the Home Buying Guide 2021 edition. I'm here with three other Austin-based realtors. Let's go around and say, what's up? Ian, let's start with you as you take a drink.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I go by IanofAustin everywhere on the internet. I'm hoping that we have a nice information-filled and energetic meeting for you today.
Crystal here with Keller Williams Realty, Northwest Market Center. Hope we can give you some really good insights, especially if you're a first-time home buyer.
What's up, y'all? JJ Tolentino with the Next Level Property Group. I am excited about today because it's a super hot topic because we know there's a lot of buyers out here today.
Yes, there are. Interest rates are still at the lowest they could possibly be as of last week. Freddie Mac came out with those statistics. So we have a huge buyer pool in Austin. We want to tell you an overview of the home buying guide. So let's just jump right on into it. Let's just start with when you're a home buyer, you're thinking about buying a home, what's the first thing that you're going to get together? And that's your timeline. When is your current lease up? When do you start your new job? When are your kids going back to school? What aspects of your life are going to affect if you can get it into a home now opposed to a year from now? So what are some other things people should consider about their timeline? JJ, do you have anything to add?
One thing I would say, your money, make sure you have enough money saved up. And yeah, definitely there's a lot of things with like jobs, school, lifestyle. And it's an uncomfortable thing. What I tell my clients is a short-term pain for a long-term pleasure. And you're going to have to go through that process and just figure out how you're going to move and shop and all that. Because shopping is another piece of the puzzle as well.
Yes, that can take some time. So you have to consider that too. Crystal, do you have any things about your buyers' timelines that come up when you're working with your clients?
Yeah, I think it's also very important to figure out if you want to buy like a resale or a new construction, because they both take different amounts of time, especially if you're buying new. You have to wait, half a year for that home to be built. So just those things to keep in mind whenever you're trying to figure out when you want to move.
That's a good point, because even if you were like open to both resale or new construction, if you're open to it, great, but those timelines are going to look really different. The amount of time it takes to build a home versus the amount of time it takes to get into a resale home. So let's just move right along to budget. So JJ, you mentioned that, do you have enough money to buy a home? What do your finances look like? What does your income look like? So Ian, what do you tell people when they're trying to figure out how much house they can afford, where to go to figure out how much they can afford to shop for?
That's an excellent question. I think the first thing I almost always do is I say, are you paying cash or financing? And people go, what does that mean? If they don't know what I'm talking about, then they need to talk to a lender, period. It's not even a question, right? They need to understand what their budget is, not because of what they see online, because you can see a price online. That's not what you're going to pay. That doesn't tell you what you're going to pay monthly. And I don't think first-time homebuyers understand that, especially when you're relocating and you're used to a certain type of property tax, HOA, insurance. All those are grouped together in your payment. And if you have no clue the details about the area, then estimating a payment can get really challenging. And that's why I feel like talking to the lender is crucial, a crucial part of it. But it's hard, like JJ said, it's hard to trust, to know who to talk to. And that's why you work with your realtor, and realtors generally have a handful of team members that they can connect you with.
Yes, that is such a good point. When you find a realtor and you talk with the realtor, they have a team of people working with them to get you from step A to closing. So one of those steps is definitely getting pre-approved, finding out what you are qualified for. Also, that will reflect how much closing costs you're going to need to bring to the table. And so you don't know what you're saving for if you don't have those numbers in front of you. So that's such a good point. So why would you want to get pre-approved other than finding out your price point, shopping point? Is there another reason?
I think a lot of people may not know that there is a difference between down payment and closing costs. And then I have a lot of people that have asked about, like, are there any like first-time home buyer programs? Well, all that's going to depend on the area. It's going to depend on the type of property you're going after. So getting pre-approved lets you know based on that particular house what you're actually looking at and what the closing costs are. That's missed. That's a miss by a lot of people.
And I think that's such a good point, because lenders and mortgage brokers, they have all of the up-to-date knowledge with what loan products are available for different qualifying properties, qualifying people, whether it's your income. So it's such a customized process with getting financing. Talking to a lender is so important so that you know what's going on. Let's just move right along to like the fun part, which is searching for a home. That's what everybody wants to do. Look at photos, tour properties, virtually tour properties. How has that been looking for you, JJ, your clients?
Man, if you're watching this and you're thinking about purchasing in the greater Austin area, I forewarn you, there is a huge current, and it means a strong seller's market. So there's low inventory. The area's population growth is higher than average on a national level. And it's a lot of competition. It's a lot of upwards pricing pressure. And it's very challenging. You have to come with it, with an offer, with the nuances of an offer. And check out our previous podcast. We've talked about, different purchasing and affording and investing in Austin. So that's my warning shot to the buyers out there.
And what about like your criteria that you're establishing in those first steps? Like, because it's such a competitive market, are you guys being as picky with like 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or 2-car garage versus no garage? Like, are you just kind of seeing everything that's coming in at the price point? Are you getting like super specific still?
Can I share a picture?
Yeah, go for it.
Watch this. This is a showing that I had 2 days ago.
Those are people dating? Oh my God.
They're all different people looking at the same house. The house was on the market for 3 or 4 hours or something at that point.
So we're looking at, for those of you listening online, we're looking at a photo of Ian with, that crowd looks about 20 people deep, waiting in line to look at a property. To look at one property. I don't think you understand. Like, when we say it's hot, depending on where you're located and your price point, this price point was a $375,000 house in Brushy Creek. Brushy Creek, what was the price point?
$375,000.
That's really attractive.
Exactly. It's really attractive. And these people in line are all getting ready to pay over $375,000 if they want a shot at this house.
Wow. Well,
that's your reality.
For those people at home that might be thinking about listing your property, take a look at that. You make the rules, you set your price. Look at that. That's amazing.
You do. And sorry.
No.
Yeah, check out my story. It'll probably be on for less than 24 hours, but same thing. I was just like, I'm going to snap waiting in line to see this house in Round Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're seeing that in Round Rock. I saw it in Cedar Park. I think this is the case anywhere within, tell me if you agree, within 30 minutes of Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
20 to 30 minutes of Austin. If it's less than 500,000, you're dealing with this kind of thing where it is gone it's really gone in a day, but people list it on a Thursday and they'll wait till Sunday just to get multiple over asking price offers.
Yeah.
If it's a resale home.
So let's talk about that offer process, just so that we can maybe shed some light on it for people that might not know, they might not have purchased a home in a while. What does that look like? Like, you find a home, it's $375,000 in Brushy Creek. you look at it, what are you going to do? How are you going to make an offer? Like, do you just go ahead and offer 15 over asking price, or what are you going to do, Ian, to win it?
Well, I think that it depends on how your agent strategizes. And generally, it's understanding that you're going to pay a little over list price if you want to have a strong offer, as well as waive appraisal, as well as have an offer letter, maybe some other incentives. One time I did gift cards for them allowing us to show the property because there were so many people and we were like last minute. We're like, can I get in? So we left gift cards on the table. We're not like bribing. It doesn't matter about the offer. It's just like, hey, we appreciate you allowing us to view this. I didn't do it. The client did it. But all sorts of things to stand out and be very straightforward. Hey, we are interested in your home. Everybody's interested, but we're really interested. Here's how we can show that.
So Crystal, have you done an offer letter that accompanies your offer? Have you ever seen that work out?
I have not. I typically, what I do is like in the email when I'm sending that offer, I just kind of write like a really cute little, background on like what my clients do and why they want the home. And then, I did that I did that last year, like back in November, and they got the deal, basically because what those sellers were looking for were just like a nice family who will like actually take care of their home because they've been living in it for such a long time.
So maybe not an investor. They didn't want to sell it to someone who was going to just flip it or rent it out, a family. So those are all really good things to consider. And I'm glad that I didn't hear anyone say it just came down to money, because that sometimes is a little.
It happens. It does.
I feel like most of the time it does come down to money.
If somebody's offering you $50,000 more for the house, which is what's happening today, if somebody's offering you $50,000 more, it's hard to say no to that, especially if they're offering you $50,000 plus they can close in 10 days. That's the reality of some of the competition that's out there.
So it's a 10-day closing. You're just talking about cash closing.
Yeah, right. I've done 8-day closing is the quickest I've done.
Cash talks, and isn't that what the saying is? Money walks. What is it?
Yeah, like I think money is the one that talks. But
okay. So let's say we write an offer. It's a beautiful offer, fair terms. We have our offer letter in. It gets accepted. So then we're going to go under contract. That starts the timeline for your option period and to deliver your earnest money and go through inspections, which if you hire a trusted realtor, they're going to have a team of people that you can choose from to come and inspect your future home. Right, Ian?
Yeah. I was going to say that's if you have an option period. I've seen offers. I've seen handwritten offers with no option period.
Okay.
I feel like the option periods are getting shorter and shorter.
Mm-hmm.
To zero.
Hearing altogether.
Yeah.
So what do you tell your buyers that aren't going to have an option period? How do you give them the confidence that this home is going to be a good home and one that's going to withstand the test of time?
The instance that I did that, my buyer, it was an interesting time in the market. Definitely wasn't as recent as now, but he did an inspection prior to getting the offer accepted. It was really interesting, but it worked.
So, yeah, I would say that the option period has weight, but if they're serious about the home and they like the home, in almost every instance, I would say I'm going to use 80-20 rule. JJ, he called me out for that earlier. 80-20 rule, 80% probability that they're going to want to go forward with that home for whatever reason, right? So I would say, is it worth $500 or $1,000 to you to have a shot at getting this house? If you walk away, you don't get that money back. But if you do proceed, you get, that money goes towards your closing costs. So it's okay. And I think once people understand that this is just your grace period to get inspections, it's okay. They're okay with it. Because they really want the house. It's in the neighborhood. Everything else fits. If they're willing to pay 50, 20, 30, 40,000 over the list price, then they're willing to do the fixes or upgrades. Let's say it needs some windows.
Right.
They're probably okay with being prepared to cover the cost of window updates.
Right. And there's only so much that can even be discovered during an inspection. I mean, they're not going to like tear the floors apart to see if there's a foundation crack underneath the vinyl, you know?
Another thing that my buyers are asking are, can we like negotiate these repairs, or can they cover our closing costs and stuff like that? And I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Today, listen, do you want it? Yes or no? It's a black and white transaction in a lot of situations. Do you want this house? Are you willing to pay for this house? Stop asking for stuff. That's the reality of it. Stop it. Stop it.
Curious, are y'all writing? Do you do 0-day option periods?
I haven't done one. I think the shortest option I've done is 4 days.
I tried to have an option period, a super swift option period of 3 days, if possible, because that's going to be a stronger offer than a 5-day or a 7-day. So I try to do that. And when I'm getting ready to submit an offer, I already have a timeline of availability for my inspectors. So I'll say, hey, I'm writing an offer. Do you have time tomorrow to be in that house at 9 a.m? So that there's no question. They already have their answer right away. When they're writing this option, the inspector can be there and we can have an answer within a day or two. If I'm doing an option, but if not, I write no option, and I'll increase the earnest money as well. Make it look nice.
Wow. I'm not a fan of 0-day option.
I'm sure, but how else do you make it stronger than someone else? So if you're going up against someone with cash, they're like, oh yeah, we've got $3 million in the bank and we want to buy a $300,000 house. How do you go against that?
I go heavy on, if anything, I say focus on how much you're willing to pay cash above appraisal. That's where I think.
Sure.
So now,
but people that have $1 million, they're willing to go. In a lot of cases, they're like, yeah, we'll go. I don't care. I'll pay over. So if as a family who's getting a first time, FHA loan, how do you go? How do you compete with that?
Yeah.
You can't. I don't think. I mean, it doesn't sound like it.
And sometimes the people that have the cash are doing that anyways. Like sometimes a listing agent will be upfront with me, or I'm on the listing side and I see some high above appraisal and 0-day inspection. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy out there.
Did I tell you I had a girl sing for her house? So we recorded a video of her singing and she wrote a song based on the address. She won it. This was
taking that. I'm about to start writing poems and stuff. I'm taking that.
Seriously, yeah, poetry, anything. Like you have to be different just to get noticed. It's like the job market almost, right? Like you have to write a good cover letter. You can't just submit an application and think they'll care. You have to be different. We just got a question. So who wants to answer this? I think we should all answer this. I think all of us will have a different.
Our question from David is, how do you feel the market will be during the summer? So he is obviously speaking to, usually you'll see seasons with real estate. It'll start slow in the winter, and then when spring hits, it'll have a pop, and it'll kind of rise and rise. But last week's podcast, we were talking about Austin really isn't experiencing seasons like it once did. So What do you guys think about that?
It's going to be on fire. Like there's too much population growth. The job employment's all there. And the thing that's not offsetting that is inventory. Inventory is not getting much better. I mean, and there's different spectrums. Like maybe you'll find your opportunities in your Kyle Budas, Pflugerville Huttos, but even just looking at Austin proper, it's going to be tough. There's still more demand than supply, and it's going to get worse in the summer. That's my prediction.
Yeah,
I agree.
I would say that generally the seasons are driven by school. A lot of people have flexibility during school time. So that's why, and the weather is nice in more cases. So they're willing to move because their kids are off school and they want to get in before the next school period. That's like what drives it, in my opinion. And the weather is nice. Somebody wants to be moving in the snow. If it's a place that snows, nobody wants to move into that. So
It's also, sorry, go ahead.
the school, everything's remote. Everybody's working remote, not everybody, but a large portion of people are working remote and have the ability to take school online. So because of that completely shifts what timelines people are moving in. And same thing goes with when you're trying to build, because inventory is so low. I've got people calling me today that won't be able to move into their house until October because you still have to build the house. They don't have any houses. You got to build it.
Oh my God. I don't even want to get into builder waiting list.
I know. We got another question from David.
Has Austin been hit hard with unemployment?
I'd say hard doesn't sound like a fitting word.
Yeah.
I'm sure it got hit with some unemployment. I don't know if it got hit hard. If you do the math or you look at the statistics, I think there's more. It's been more resilient in regards to employment.
I think there's a lot of opportunities. So people have been able to shift from one job to another rather quickly. However, here's the interesting thing to consider. The inventory is so low right now. Somebody lost their job and are having a hard time with their house, because this is about houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be an investor just waiting to buy that house.
Yeah.
Great. Let's do this. So it's not going to be a lull in the market as a result of unemployment.
Yeah.
Also, if someone is unemployed and unable to pay their mortgage, if you find someone quick enough, they can help you before it forecloses. So
Absolutely.
I don't really see how,
I would say that's a really important point. And this is for any of us agents, if you know somebody or are somebody who's having a difficult time with forbearance and you think you might be facing foreclosure, reach out to any of us. We have cash investors that are just like in our ear saying, hey, I need to get rid of this house, or hey, I need to buy a house so that I can start investing in this area. You saw that line. That's reality right now. We have another one for David. Yeah. You want to read that one?
Can I say that word?
You can say that word.
Pandemic lifesaver may be gone by the summer. Maybe so. I don't know. I can't speak to that because I just don't.
It's interesting. I think he's referring to possibly like a influx of money from the government or forbearance periods. I think that's what he's referring to. Like those will be gone.
He was talking about. Oh, yeah. I don't know if we're talking about vaccines or money, stimulus money.
Yeah, I'm unclear about that. But regardless, I think that I think Texas overall, people are coming here, they're relocating here. Austin is on the top 5 counties where people are coming. They're coming from California. We all know, we've known and heard about that, but they're also coming from Florida. Our neighbors, Louisiana, Oklahoma, they're coming here. And so we're just going to continue to see home prices rise. The buyer pool is still high. People will be deciding to rent, maybe. And we'll just have to see what comes.
Yeah, I'm going to post on my Instagram within the week a projected pricing slope of 2021. And spoiler alert, it's positively sloping.
Yes. And I just want to point out, look
downward.
Look at these numbers. So California, it might be double some of these other, or even triple some of these places, but these are strong numbers.
Yeah. So we're seeing these numbers that were published by the Texas Realtors Association. You can go to their website, texasrealestate.com, and find all these charts that can show you relocation reports, home buying process, and motivators for different people. And it's really interesting. I spent a lot of time on this website just digging in, and there's a lot to uncover.
I like the better overall value being the number one at 32%.
Here's a question. What about the buyers that are like it's gonna pop like it's a bubble. So I'm gonna wait until it pops.
How
Ooh,
long?
I've
Sorry.
come across people who have said that.
What do you tell them?
I would say look at where the jobs are moving and the people are moving. And when do you think they'll stop moving here?
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
it doesn't matter if it's a bubble.
exactly.
When will they stop moving here?
Yeah. What's gonna pop it? Right.
Right.
I would say at this point in time, looking at what's happened in the past, I can only imagine that waiting could possibly negatively affect your position as a home buyer. Home prices will be rising.
Interest rates also.
Yeah, interest rates,
They won't stay the same forever.
they definitely won't. They can't. And what goes down must come up again, right?
And for owner occupants, while you're waiting, you're just straight up paying rent if you're not owning yet.
I love pulling this up. Where's I need a calculator. I'm gonna
And we
share
did a rent versus buy podcast in the past as well to check that out. Last fall.
if you're paying, let's say, what's average rent? $1,800 a month here for a 3-bedroom house. Like you want to rent a house, $1,800, right? Times what? 60. Let's say you're 5 years. That's $108,000. It's $108,000 that you did not put into your own house.
Dang.
Even if you were to divide that in half because of taxes and all that, right? Divided by 2, you're still at $50,000. Plus, you're not considering appreciation if that property goes from $300,000 to $600,000 over 5 years. So literally, you're throwing money away if you're not considering purchasing a home. So what other things can we talk about as far as making it easy for people? We only have about 3 minutes left.
Let's throw up our mind map
Okay.
so we can just quickly go through.
I think that's this one. All right.
Yeah. So if you're considering buying
One thing
a
that I do
home-
want to add to am I lagging?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So one thing that I do want to add when I'm searching for homes is, say your buyer got approved for like 325. I usually have them look at under 300 just in case they need to offer, X amount over what the seller is asking.
Oh, I like that.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I set up their portal. I make them aware on our consultation, our initial meeting that, expect to offer more than listing on some of these homes. So I kind of just set them up for that and just kind of look for, X amount lower than what they got pre-approved for.
I really like that. I think being upfront with expectations in the beginning can really help you during your process so that you don't have buyer fatigue. Searching through all those listings and making offers and getting rejected can be a stressful time, but it is also a fun time. And homes are out there. They're coming on the market every single day. We are here to help you. Contact us today. Email us. My email is right here. JJ, Crystal, Ian, any one of us are qualified to help you set up a search or guide you to any one of these different steps of the home buying process. So we'd love to work with you and hear from you. Thanks for logging in and commenting today, David. That was really great interacting. We love seeing people interact. So watch us. We'll be streaming live every week.
Yeah, I would like to just piggyback off that. Say thank you, everyone. We are only on live for about 30 minutes. So if you see a live pop up, try to be able to come and interact with us. We'd love to be able to answer your questions live. We do this every Friday around 2:30. Today was an anomaly, but generally it's every Friday around 2:30 in the afternoon, Central Time.
Right. Thank you guys for tuning in. All we want to do on these podcasts is just to inform you guys and give you as much insight as we possibly can, to also reach out to us if you have any other questions.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that. I know it could seem overwhelming, so just break it down to an easy step. There's contact information for all 4 of us. Reach out, email, call. And that's step one. Start there.
Step one. And let's get these houses. Let's do these deals. We can do it.
Very good. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. See you next week.